Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your old pal CHH here. Just want to let you know, if you want to get some cool merch like this, you can go to tpublic.com. I'll have the link in the video description and in the pinned comment. There's always sales on there, great quality. So I wanted to do a video talking about 4K titles that I found to be like that next level impressive, because, you know, 4K by definition is better than Blu-ray, but sometimes you'll not notice a big difference on some stuff, and other times you'll have what's called like that, like almost life-changing difference, where stuff just looks incredibly good, better than anything before. And I wanted to show you some titles that I have, but this is also a way for me to start the conversation, because there's still movies that I haven't grabbed in the past that I'm waiting to hear good thoughts on. And granted, I don't watch enough YouTube reviews, which I should, but I want to get the conversation going from my viewers, because not only do you guys kind of know what kind of movies I like, but you can kind of tell me what titles I can grab. So what I'm about to show you is a list of titles that, for me, were really impressive and stuff that I really liked. Start out right here. I love these movies, and it's a little bit of a bummer because they're spaced out from two labels. Well, we're talking about the Max Trilogy, and I think that all three of these were really good. And like the thing about the first one is it's Kino Lorber, and if I can not drop it, the thing that's great about the Kino Lorber one is, you know, Kino, they do a great job, and I'm always really happy with their picture quality and their releases. And the thing that I take away from this is, like, hopefully when we get other stuff on 4K from Kino, it's going to be just as good, because it seems like the majority of stuff I have from Kino, in terms of 4K too, it all looks pretty damn good, and I'm really happy with it. But the Warner Brothers releases for Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and Road Warrior are equally as good. And it's interesting when you talk about that, because like sometimes you wonder what the bigger studio stuff is going to be like. But I got to say that both of these looked equally as good, I felt, as the Kino release, which is more or less a boutique label. So it kind of sucks, because I wanted to have them on all three and they could be uniform and stuff, but that's just the way the cookie crumbled. But like the thing about these movies, I feel like there's a fan base, separate fan bases for each film, and I would probably guess that, you know, Road Warrior has the biggest fan base. I finally came around to appreciating Beyond Thunderdome, and I love Mad Max, but all three of these look incredible. I own these movies on almost every format because I'm a big Mel Gibson and fans of these films, and these are without a doubt the most incredible these films have ever, and probably will ever look. They're just exquisite. I love them. But, you know, this was a title I got because everybody was telling me, Christian, you need to get this. It looks incredible. The colors are great. And there's a sequel in the works that's Beetlejuice, which I mean, it really was an incredible 4K. I loved it, and it looked sensational. The colors popped so well on this. The depth was incredible in the image. So I was really happy with Beetlejuice. And, I mean, this is such a good movie, too. But that's not the point of this. The point is, like, the picture quality. But, yeah, the Beetlejuice I was super happy with. I thought it looked just absolutely incredible. So happy to talk about that, and I'm excited for the new movie they're doing. Shout out to my boy Kyle, per usual, who hooked me up with this release. I don't know what America has in terms of this release, but 4K is a native region-free format. Knock on wood. Hopefully they're not going to change that. But this release is from Studio Canal. This release is incredible, but this is one of the best-looking 4Ks ever. This is The Outsiders, which is a... Is this a Brian De Palma movie? Francis Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma, one of the juggernauts. But this release from Studio Canal was great, and Studio Canal is always really good about doing just like the best releases money can buy. And this release from Studio Canal is like the super duper edition, and it's got multiple discs, documentaries. I mean, it just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. I mean. Look at this. If I can get it all in frame. There are soundtracks, Blu-rays, making-ofs, documentaries, interviews, director's cuts. It's incredible. This is the nicest release for this movie. And it's a great release, but it looks incredible. So I can't tell you how much I love this Studio Canal release of The Outsiders. This movie is amazing. The cast is outstanding, but it looked incredible. And I was always so used to like an old crappy DVD I had of this movie, and I love this movie. I read the book The Outsiders in school. I used to watch the DVD in school as well, and I always loved it. So if you're a fan of this movie, get this 4K released, see what's available, but make sure it's the Studio Canal transfer. If it's not from Studio Canal, make sure they use that transfer because it looked insanely good. I loved it. Next up, I'm actually going to go to Shout Factory. Not Scream Factory, but Shout Factory. That is Red Dawn, and this is the Steelbook version of the film. I was super happy with how good this looked. I saw the remake. I never saw the original before until maybe a year or so ago. So this film is fairly new to me. And when this got announced on 4K, I was like, this is perfect because I saw it on Netflix or something. I didn't own it at all. And watching this on 4K is incredible. And, you know, for all the flack I kind of give Shout Factory, Scream Factory right now because it's just, they're not really grabbing new titles. They're just repurposing everything on 4K, which I get a little flack for saying that. But it's just how I feel because I'm buying all this stuff. But I was so happy to get this. And this is one of, I think, the best looking 4Ks that the company has done, Scream Factory or Shout Factory, and this movie is incredible. So the Red Dawn 4K release is incredible, and I was so happy I got the Steelbook because Patrick Swayze is one of my favorite actors, just incredible. So I was super happy with this. If you can get your hands on this Steelbook because it's so nice, grab it, but get the release itself. I mean, shockingly good. Next up, I always like talking about this. I think this is one of the best 4Ks ever done, which is The Shining. Just looks immaculate. Absolutely immaculate. It's one of those movies that, like, you think about how meticulous Stanley Kubrick is, and yeah, you're damn right it looks that good. But, yeah, so The Shining, I'll keep it short and sweet because I've talked about it. This is one of the best looking 4Ks in the horror genre ever. Somebody asked me to bring this up again, and I definitely want to. For anime, the Transformers movie, this looked remarkably good on 4K. Remarkably good, and this is Shout Factory as well, and this is still readily available. I see these at Target all the time. If you're even remotely a fan of, like, anime, cartoons, Transformers, or the great Stan Bush, this is incredible. There's the back art. Yeah, this made me realize how good anime could look, and I actually want to go grab the Flintstones on Blu-ray because I have the DVD set, and people were telling me like they really cleaned up the animation on that, and it looks incredible. But this is outstanding how good it looks. I really love it. So the Transformers. So Godzilla 2014. Not only have I become a bigger fan of that movie since its release, I don't think it's a perfect Godzilla film by any stretch, but I do think it was a great return looking back. I think I was a little bummed out because Bryan Cranston was such a big star and I wanted him in the movie the whole time. That's neither here or there, though. This 4K release of Godzilla 2014 completely fixed any and all issues with the Blu-ray releases. The nighttime scenes have a clarity level like I've never seen before. It's one of the best nighttime 4K movies ever. There's so much definition on it now. It was incredible, just life-changing. So I actually got this used at a game exchange near me, and I wish I had gotten whatever nicer releases they had at the time because of how good this looked. But I'm thinking about grabbing more of the Godzilla movies, the recent ones, on 4K, if they're as good as this one. Because this one is remarkably good on 4K, and that's something maybe you can answer for me in the comment section. But yeah, super happy with that Godzilla one. One of my favorite 4Ks of all time, this one is just incredible to me, is Martin Scorsese's Casino. This was like a day one. This was one of the very first 4K movies I ever got. I love this movie, and I just thought it was breathtaking how good it looked. It truly looks like you're in the movie when you're watching it on a big screen, and there's just so much depth in the image. You can, like, the weight of the room, I don't know how to explain it that well. It's almost like it's 3D. But you just feel like there's zero compression to the image whatsoever. And, yeah, this movie did it so well. I actually heard that the Goodfellas 4K wasn't that great. But, you know, I can tell you for a fact that Casino is the real deal. I'm showing my box set version, but know that these movies are still available in individual releases. But I was super happy with the Rambo films on 4K, all of them, specifically the latter ones. So like Rambo 4, which came out in 2008. You know, it gives me hope that movies during this time, despite being filmed probably digitally for the most part, they still can look incredible. What kind of post effects is done on something like a movie like this, I'm not sure. But like this movie was the one I was most anticipating watching on 4K, and it just blew me away. So I mean, if you're a Rambo fan, these movies look great. Specifically, too, you know, like First Blood just looked breathtaking on 4K. All of them, every single one of them. First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, which, if I can get it out, I'm a big fan of. This one looked really, really good on 4K. So if you're a Rambo fan, you can get these individually, and they look great. The only thing that's interesting about watching like Rambo 6 on 4K is the picture definition is so good. Stallone, it's not polite on his skin. You know, the 4K image is not very polite on his skin. It makes him look even older, like he's 100 instead of like in his 70s. So that I noticed, but it looks incredible. Now, if you got the money to try to spring and find this, get it. But you can get the movies individually, and I highly recommend it. So those are some 4Ks, guys, that really were a cut above in terms of how good the picture was. And I can't emphasize enough how much I recommend those. But please tell me some titles that you have on 4K, horror, non-horror, comedy, whatever, that you think really do, you know, push the boundaries of how good the format can be. This is good old CHH. Thank you for watching. Please drop a comment below, and let's get the conversation started. Drop a like on the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.